Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. I am back from vacation and getting ready to start on this beast of a Technics RS-M88. Been wanting to get to this for a while now. Now it's finally time. Anyhow, my plans for this include swapping over the head to a Nakamichi head. You may have remembered that from various other videos, but before that I want to really go through this thing and see what it sounds like on its own before I go to that length with it. And I've already gotten a little bit of a start on this. It needs a full recap, but I've already done the power supply as of earlier this week. See if I can zoom in a little bit here. Monster of a deck. I'm having trouble fitting it into the frame even, but I did get the power supply done. I did find a couple of capacitors that were not happy anymore. One of these gray ones was down at 20% of spec on the low side, and same thing with one of these over here. And furthermore, I found that these had been leaking onto the board, so good to get them gone. I will show you what's in there now. And what's in there now are those there parts right there. Had everything I needed. These are Panasonic FR, I think. If they're not, they're FS. Let's see. Oh, well, I suppose it doesn't matter. FR, FS, they're all really good quality parts. This is an FR for sure. This is an FM or an FC, forget which. Not sure what that is. That's probably one of my Nichicon PYs there. And then these two are Chemicon. They pretty much had to be. I thought about going in with another one of these over here because it was $2,200 also, but I figured let's keep as much of this FR as possible, or FS, or at least Panasonic, as the case may be. Now, over the weekend, I'm going to have to get into the transport side of this and start working on that. That will all be on camera, of course, because I've never dealt with this transport before. But before that, I have so terribly much recapping to do. It's crazy. The whole machine has to be done. All of these have to go. There's multiple capacitors that are leaking everywhere, mostly the dark blue ones, but also the light blue ones are not so good anymore either, and it's just a nightmare of recapping I've got to do on this thing. But for now, let's fire it up and we'll see how it works presently, because it's been a while since this thing's been powered on. And I should mention, cleaned the heads in here, but the erase head looks like it's going to need polishing, not just cleaning. The record play head cleaned up fine, and I'm pleased to report that the pinch roller is in perfect shape in this, so it will not need replacement. So we'll fire it up here and see what it does. Well, first off, it takes a real long time for the vacuum fluorescent display to come up. I'm hoping the recap's going to fix that too, so we'll find that out for sure. It's also rather dim, but it's also rather bright in here, so anywho, we'll check it out and see how it works. For now, rewind still doesn't work. I have to get in there and clean that button switch if I can figure out how to do it on this type. Playback is no problem. Still makes a racket and fast forward. It sounds like there's plenty of high end in the audio, so this head is probably okay. In fact, I think it's somewhat low hours from, despite the performance, or despite the appearance here. So I'm really going to try to let this stand on its own for like a month or two before I try and drop the Nakamichi head in this thing to see what that does for it, but I think it's going to be a great tape deck. Anyhow, no point leaving it powered up because I gotta get started recapping real quick here. But yes, I'm not exactly sure what it takes to get this board here out. I bet you that's the Capstan motor controller there. I don't see really anything on the back of the actual transport. I think it's all in this board here. And when it comes to this, there's a bunch of really low value electrolytic caps in there that I couldn't find replacements for in 2025. For those locations, I will be going tantalum, so hopefully it likes that, because I really want to get rid of every single electrolytic in here, because they're all just not good anymore. Okay, so I just got 3 capacitors done on the audio board. These are in the power block section. They're found way back under there. I've got 3 brand new Panasonic FR parts in there now, and big improvement already. There's a big difference in the sound quality now. Got lots more to do, but I just thought I'd show you these. None of these test bad, but all 3 of them were leaking all over the board. Well, maybe not all over the board. They're not real bad yet, but they're definitely not good anymore. Before we continue, I thought you guys might like to see the beast, the R999X. It's here, and I am very impressed with this deck. Not impressed with how much I paid for it. Every cassette deck in 2025 is too expensive, but it is what it is. I paid less for this than I could have paid. The last couple of these I saw go on the Japanese markets went for over $500 each. This one was mine for the cost of that there Big Andy down there, the 9100. So I'm very impressed with how this is built. It seems much more reliable than the Akai GXR-88. Okay, so I'm going through some of the capacitors, and I'm finding some bad ones. All of these are bad. Every single one of them. They're high ESR. But this one takes the cake. 423 ohms ESR. It's a 0.1 microfarad. It's one of these little orange dealies. And yeah, I'm finding this all over the place. And by the way, these capacitors were all in the reel drive and plunger control section. So I'm glad I didn't run this deck for very long in this state, because I would hate to have to go replacing transistors, which was probably going to be the next step here. But I'm going to keep testing these. Probably not going to find too many more surprises here, considering these are all really, really bad. And they've been puking for a long time, most of them. So I will continue on. I've got 85% of the deck recap now. Just got to do the control board and the capstan board, and I'm done. Okay, I found another one that's even worse. 625 ohms ESR at 100 hertz. I can change the frequency, but it's not going to get better from there. Well, maybe a little better. At 100 kilohertz, it's at 9 ohms ESR, but still. I'm going to keep testing at 1 kilohertz, and I will continue. Okay, so the recap is all done, and I'm ready to get started on the actual transport service of this unit, but I'll show you first. All these purple pukers needed to go. I think about 90 to 95% of them were either physically leaky or high ESR or a combination of the two, so all these are bad. So yes, you do have to 100% recap one of these Technics decks if you've got one. So keep that in mind if you're looking for one. I did manage to get this done without any need to recalibrate the Capstan motor board, I think. Not sure yet, but it sounds like it's working correctly, so I'm just going to choose to believe it's working correctly. I did have no problems with replacing these 0.22 microfarad parts with brand new tantalums, so I think it's going to hold up very well for me now. At least I hope so, because quite frankly, this is probably my favorite two-head deck in the whole collection. Actually, it's probably one of my favorite decks, period, but whatever. In fact, it's so good that I'm kind of thinking twice about doing my proposed Nakamichi head swap into this thing, because it's already at the very top of the heap when it comes to two-headers. In fact, I don't think Technics has a better era than this for tape decks. The RSB100 probably begs to differ, but I think, for me, it doesn't get any better than this. From Technics, anyway. It's miles ahead of the RSB755, I think. I like that deck too, don't get me wrong, it's just I think this is on another level. So, I've got a new idler right here. This is from Fix Your Audio. It's a special T-shaped idler. You can get these from places other than Fix Your Audio, but I've been so happy with Fix Your Audio that I've decided to just keep using them. I've got some 6-volt lamps in here. I know it needs at least one because the counter is supposed to be lit up on this thing and mine doesn't light up. And I've already caught the one in the cassette well going flaky on me, but something I should mention is, like the RS-M275X, I have evaluated this for potential operation at 120 volts, and I'm not quite there with plugging this directly into the wall here, so thought maybe we'd go into this a little bit. I did some measurements on all 4 of these windings. Yes, there are 4 windings in this transformer. And 2 of them I'm reasonably confident would work properly at 120 volts, and 2 I'm not so sure about. So let's see if I can find a pointy thing so I can point with, and you'll have to excuse me, I'm feeling sick today, so I'm probably not going to be doing the actual transport service today and saving that for tomorrow. So this top section here is the 20 volt output, and it appears to be fully regulated, except there's this one 28 volt side of it that I'm not sure about. But the 20 volt rail is actually not only just regulated, it's adjustable. So I'm reasonably confident that this would work. I need to figure out what this 28 volt line goes to yet. But this one down here also appears to be regulated. This is the 12 volt output, I think, for the most part. This one here is a 20 volt rail that is not regulated apparently. It may be. There's a transistor right here that might be helping it with that, but I'm not exactly sure. But down here is the real problem. This is where the VFD filament voltage comes from. And that is completely unregulated, but there's a couple of dropping resistors in here. So this could potentially be modified to work with 120 volts, but you'd have to get new dropping resistors, I think. I don't know. The voltages I got from the different input voltages are over here. At 100 volts, I got 29 volts on the top winding, and 120 volts, 34.3 volts. That's a fairly substantial increase in voltage. The second one went from 12.3 volts to 14.7 volts. So, I don't know, that's a maybe. Moving down, we go from 16.6 volts to 20 volts on this winding. So, I don't know. And then the bottom one is 7 volts to 8.3 volts. So, I'm thinking I'm probably not going to try to run this at 120 volts. I'm just going to try looking for a replacement power transformer. Oh, and by the way, you see all these fuses here? These are not present in my machine. This appears to be only for the non-Japanese market ones. The Japanese market one only has one fuse and one fuse only, and it's back in here somewhere. So, yes, I would like to find a new power transformer for this that'll work with 120 volts, because I'm not comfortable running this one at 120 like the 275X. And on that subject, I am not happy with the 275X. There's something missing from it, and I think it's all treble. So what I'm thinking I kind of want to do is, once this thing goes ahead with its Nakamichi head swap, is I'm thinking I want to try this head in the 275X. But the 275X was intended to be my playback deck for Dolby C and DBX. And I'm thinking it's probably not going to be doing that now, because I've got an Akai GX-93 coming in. I'll show you the new caps before we get the transport out. This thing is already a beast for playback. And I think the new caps have really woken it up significantly. So you'll see that there are exactly 2 WEMA parts per channel here. These are bipolar replacing polar electrolytics. The deck is responding very well to playback with these. These are MKS2 parts. And there's only 4 of them in the deck, because there's only 4 that required such low values. These are 0.1 microfarad, and I think 100 volts or something like that, but the original parts weren't 100 volt parts. There are also 4 UKZ parts in here. There's one down in here, and there's one over here, and the other 2 are in the corresponding parts in the other channel. Every place I could find that that was suitable for audio grade parts has been upgraded to audio grade, but I've already showed you the best ones. But there are 2 UES parts down on the jacks back there for playback. They're on the line out, just kind of under here somewhere. But most of them are fine gold and UKT parts, or some other such device. Like there are some audio grade parts in the Dolby boards, which I will not be using, but yes, this has been 100% recapped, and it's really waking up as a result. It sounds phenomenal. Okay, so to remove the transport, we have to free up some wires here. And I think the first thing we're going to want to do, or among the first things we're going to want to do, is desolder the lamp wires to the cassette well. So let me heat up the iron so that we can do that. It's just 2 wires that are soldered directly to the power supply board here. There's one, and the other one's over here. So while the iron is heating up, it's not up to temp yet, we will go ahead and unplug the head wires, which are way back over here somewhere. I found the erase head wire earlier this morning. I think it's this one back here on the brown wire. So let's disconnect that. And we'll clip some of the old wire ties. Sometimes these type of wire ties can be reused, but this deck dates from 1979, so I'm going to bet that they're just going to explode when I try to do anything with those. Okay, erase head wire needs to be freed up. We'll see if we can get it out of there. Oh, and by the way, to get to the Capstan motorboard, you just have to remove 2 screws, and then this whole assembly comes right out the top. So no problems with that. It's just if I could get my fingers to grab onto things, it would be nice. I am really not feeling well, so this is probably all I'm going to be doing today, is just extracting wires and removing the transport. And the other 2 head wires, or whatever, actually go down to one connector under here, so it's going to be hard for me to show you. I should have been paying attention to where my soldering iron was, because I had a piece of paper on top of it, almost, and I do not want fires in this house. Oh, they would have to wrap that around and all that other stuff. Where's my soldering braid, Self? It's over there, Self. Can't you see it, Self? Why, yes I can. Stop being so condescending. So the lamp wires have been desoldered, not without incident. I did burn the insulation off one of these other wires here. I'll just keep an eye on it. Should be okay. But we gotta try and get these head wires to come through here. I don't know if it's going to be possible without removing the capstan board again, but at least the erase head came out. So, driver screws, we need to do these two screws at the very least. And disconnect the capstan board. Set those off to the side. We'll remove the front door off the machine, because I believe the front panel has to come out. Or off, I mean. I love how the door on this thing is just a solid piece of glass. It's just screaming quality at me. I'm just looking at these controls. Not exactly sure how you clean these, or how you take these apart to clean them. Do they come apart even very easily? I don't know. Let me investigate this a little more. Okay, so here's the inside of one of the switches. There's really not much to them. They do just sort of pry apart. And we got two sets of contacts, and we've got a spring on the other side here. So, guessing all I got to do is clean this spring, and it should work again, this switch. These, see if I can show you a little better here. The actual contact part of this is these little areas here, so should be able to just clean this up and it'll work again. So let me do that. I think I'll try D100L for this. Okay, so I got that one formerly dead switch now working. It doesn't actually rewind or do anything, but we know why that is. The idler is no good, as you can hear. So I should probably clean the rest of these controls. I might as well while I'm here. So let me do that, and we'll continue getting the transport out of this. Oh yes, I have to clean this too, and also these two switches. These three have already been done because they're accessible with the board out, but these two are not accessible, so let me continue. Okay, so the very next control is the record one, and I just had to show you how bad this is. Look how oxidized this is. It's nuts. I'm gonna have to really clean this one. So it's a good thing I'm taking these button switches apart. But just to show you how they go back in, they kind of go like this, in like so. That's how they work. Okay, so I got the buttons all cleaned up, and they're all working, at least as well as I could get them to work. About 4 of the contacts in there were every bit as bad as the, well, 3 of the other contacts were as bad as the record one was. In addition, I had a little bit of trouble getting some of these plungers to work properly again. Like the fast forward was particularly difficult, so I had to take my little engraver tool here and grind off just a little bit of the plunger right up here where it sort of was binding. Some of the others aren't much better than that one, but the other ones aren't getting stuck, so I'm just going to leave well enough alone on those. So it is time to finish taking the transport out of this thing. And I can see a lot of these decks going for cheap just because those button switches are so bad. After 40 years or so. So you definitely want to check into that if you have one of these. Now I haven't figured out what I'm doing yet about this counter lamp. I can see the lamp. It's right in this, I'll show you. It's right there. You can kind of see it. The blue thingamadoodle that's on it. I don't know how I'm going to get access to that yet, or how I'm going to get access to this potentiometer yet either. But I don't know. They've got this potentiometer buried in there so deep that I'm not sure I'm even going to be able to access it without doing major deconstruction again. But I'll figure out a way. Might do that off camera, might not. We'll see. But apparently the transport comes out from this angle here. I'm just trying to see which screws need to come out. But it's all in the service manual, so I will figure it out eventually. But most likely I need to take out this red screw in here. It's the same screw as the two I took out up here. And then there's this one, I think, yes, up around where the counter is. It's another red one. Right here. And it looks like there's a ground wire that goes to that one, so be aware of that. If I can get access to it, I'll show it to you. It's just right there. And let's see what else. We've got one more screw, it looks like, right down in here. And this one is a black screw, different from the rest of them. So, is the transport loose? It sure is. But we got a bunch of wires we gotta pull through first here. Let's see, we've got another ground here. Oh no, wait, that's not a ground. That's the one of the head wires. So, am I going to be able to get this connector through? I don't know. We'll find out, though. Oh yeah, it's coming through. I didn't think there was room for it, but apparently there is room for it. That's good, and we disconnect the Capstan motor. Just two connectors. I'm guessing we gotta disconnect some a connector from down here. The one that says to mechanism, conveniently. And that has been freed up. If we can just untangle it from its little buddies. Okay, there's another one here to mechanism. Okay, we're going to have to take notice of some labels here because we've got two identical connectors. This one's labeled I, and it is correctly labeled on the circuit board here, right down there. And then there's this other one that's right back in there that we have to disconnect. And that one's H. So hopefully that's properly labeled. Yes, it is. Good. Okay, so we are on the verge of removing our transport. Okay, I think we've got all the wires freed up. Now we got to disconnect the counter belt. See if I can get you a good look at that. Probably not. Well, you can kind of see it through there. Maybe if I hold these wires down, just go in with my tweezers and pull the counter belt off. There it is. Looks like a 0.7 millimeter belt to me. I will be replacing that. It's a little tight on space where the counter is. Maybe I should pull the counter because I need to work on that anyway. Okay, so the counter is loose now, and you only have to remove the top 2 screws. It's not that bottom screw. Leave the bottom screw alone. But counter is out now, and I can service that lamp. But more importantly, hopefully I can get the transport out now. Shall we find out? I will set you down here and zoom out, and we'll just reach around the camera and try to get this out. Oh yeah, easy peasy. No, not really. Not very easy at all. But it's out now, and can start doing a transport service on this guy right down here. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to change the lamp and the counter with great difficulty, it looks like, but yeah. And then we'll come back tomorrow and finish the transport service, or do the transport service. Haven't started the transport service yet to finish it. Figured you guys might want to have a look at the GX93 before we continue. Literally just showed up a couple minutes ago. It's a little rougher around the edges than I hoped it would be. Like, these buttons all need to be polished out because they're corroded as hell. And it's kind of generally dirty, but hopefully we've got something here that'll work well. The side panels look like they're in halfway decent shape on this one. So we'll see how the heads are in due time and see if this is going to work out for me for Dolby C and DBX playback, but whatever. Okay, so we'll resume now with the Technics, and gotta tell you guys, I spent most of the rest of yesterday off camera cleaning up the deck and polishing controls, and I gotta tell you, the last owner was a fairly heavy smoker. This was all discolored with nicotine and whatnot, and so were these switches, and they're not actually supposed to be this color. They're supposed to be this color. So I pulled a lot of grime off the faceplate as well, but I don't think it's doing much for the VFD on this thing. So there might be an issue with that, but until the display dies, I don't really care that much. As long as it works, I'm happy. And I should tell you, I did manage to get this control cleaned. What you kind of got to do to clean this is you have to remove this this plastic part just enough to get access from underneath. And the way you do that is you undo the nuts on this control, this one, and then you take out these 5 screws here, plus the screw in here, and then the 6 screws, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 over here that hold this on, and then you can pull it forward just far enough to do the job. So I've got all the switches and stuff cleaned now, so this thing's ready to go, I hope, because I want to hear this working by the end of the day. I just am in love with this deck. I don't know what to say. In fact, I am bidding on a parts deck for this thing right now. It's an RS-M88. Older than this, no metal support, but it's basically the exact same transport and almost the exact same thing minus quartz lock. So, and on that note, I think the 75 can be converted to quartz lock. We'll have to see when it gets here, if I win it. I don't even know if I'm winning it yet, because I got a real low bid on that thing. I want to see just how cheap I can make these things, because they are cheap in Japan. I saw an RS-M45 go for $36 yesterday. Not kidding. Every deck in this series seems to be going for reasonable money. I'm impressed. I think the newest deck based on this transport is actually the RS-M270X. There's 3 of them up on Yahoo Japan auctions right now. Well, 2 Yahoo Japan, 1 Mercari. And the one on Mercari still has the fancy sticker on the door still in place. So that one was kind of tempting too, but they wanted $130 for it. So I said nope to that, and I'm going for the 75, and my max bid on that is $50. So I will know by the time you see this video if I've got that one. Anyhow, let's get the transport done on this thing, because like I said, I want it singing to me by the end of the day. I want to listen to Vaporwave on it tonight, if I can. Okay, hopefully I'm ready to go with this. We'll start with the backside. That way I don't have to worry so much about damaging things if the door is off. Looking for a Capstan oil keeper, and I don't see one. I've already cleaned the Capstan, so there's no worries there. We need to delete some more old wire ties. And I don't know what's going on with my body, but I'm still not quite feeling right today. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm okay to finish this video, though, without breaking something. At least I hope I am. Technics was just on their A-game with this entire series of decks, I think. The M95 would be nice to add to the collection, but I'm not doing it for $1,000, which is what they usually go for in Japan. I don't know about North America, but Japan, they're ridiculous. I've already spent more than enough on the entire rest of the collection. I don't need to start dropping crazy money on some more of these things. Okay, we'll take this plate out of here. This actually looks like a coreless reel motor right there. Something more to like about Technics, I guess. Oh man, the oil in the capstan bearing is still flawless. Look at this. Gotta love it. So I don't know what there is in the way of linkages to lubricate back here, but I'm guessing we're going to find out. I don't think I need to do much with the solenoids because it was already moving well when it comes to going between modes. And it's occurring to me I should probably get back into the Capstan motor control board on this thing to see what kind of a quartz crystal it uses. Because if I'm converting this 75 over to quartz lock, I'm going to need that information. I've looked at the schematics and they're almost identical between quartz lock and non-quartz lock. There's just an extra IC. There's the quartz crystal and a few other bonus parts in there. But there's really not much different. Oh, this is interesting. Is that the FG coil right there? I think it might be. It's attached anyway, so got some old grease to clean up, of course. See if I can get a little tuft of a Q-tip down in there to get into the middle here. Just like so, and then I'll continue to clean down in here. Never seen a direct drive motor like this before. Or built like this before, I should say. I've seen direct drive motors before. Lots of them by now. And we'll just go ahead and extract the flywheel. Very nice. There's the FG coil right there. Only one wire running to it, it looks like. So it must be grounded to the plate and the rest of the chassis. Anyhow, more cleaning. I am just having a little look-see at the linkages back here for the head block solenoid. This is the brake solenoid here. Just kind of trying to figure out what I want to do about grease here. Because it doesn't seem like the grease is in any way expired yet on this. I think they even used good grease on here. Yes, everything is moving just extremely well. So this is going to be a very light transport service indeed. I think everything we need to do is in the front side of this thing, in fact. So let me get a Kim wipe here, if I can find my Kim wipes. And I'll break out the acetone and we'll clean the capstan here. Clean the flywheel real good. Clean the magnet real good. And there's actually a warning inside the bottom of the deck that you should watch for putting any kind of debris in here, which I already knew, but I thought it was kind of cool that they actually had that warning in there. So let me set that down, and I will get a pipe cleaner. And I think I'm going to change up the way I do capstans just a little bit, and I'm just going to do a dry pass through with the pipe cleaner. Which is difficult as it happens, because I need to pull it through from the other side. Oh, I've got debris in there. Great. I knew that would come back and bite me. Let me get my rocket blower and I'll blow that out. And that has removed the debris. Going with the compressor oil again. And ideally you'd really want to let this soak into the bearing, but I would kind of like to put the capstan stuff back together before I start on the front side of things. But actually, I can just remount this plate, I think, or remount the this thing, and probably get to work on that. Then I can always come back here afterwards and put the flywheel back in and the capstan. Let's try it that way. Now, as far as this lamp goes, I'm not sure I'll be replacing it today, because I'm not sure if I've really got the best kind of replacement for this, because it's on a pigtail. The replacement lamps I have are not on a pigtail. They're bare wire. And I already have to get back in here anyway to swap in the knack head. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I leave this lamp alone right now, since it does work most of the time. Okay, now what do I got to do to take the teeny tiny little bug off the table that was inside the transport? They got some weird bugs in Japan, I guess. Okay, I think this is going to be easy. I'm just going to undo the two screws from over here, where you can't see very well. Actually, let me show you. Right yonder. I'll take those two out, and then I think the door just comes right off. There might be a clip or two to remove. No, just one clip, it looks like. So I will remove said clip. Put it down to the side. I wonder if this door could maybe use a little bit more greasing. Quite probably it can. Probably best to eject first and then what else? Up like so. Oh yes. Bunch of sticky old grease on this pivot right here, so I'm gonna have to take the door assembly apart and re-grease. I kind of like the way it opens right now, but it's going to just gum right up if I leave it like this. Looks like we need a 00 for this one. Yes, that is correct. A JIS 00. or Phillips 00, as the case may be. Okay, yes, it's just about all up in here where I'm going to want to do all the lubrication. But first, let's check and see just how bad things are. Release-o, break-o, off with the old counterbelt. It's actually not as bad as I thought. I thought all that racket it was making was from the reel tables, but maybe not. Oh, there's where the racket came from, so gotta lube that little thing. So I'll put that old counterbelt out of the way. It's not going back in, obviously. This could not be easier to service, I gotta say. And yes, here's the lamp. It is on a pigtail, so I think I'll try to find pigtail style replacements for that. There are more 6-volt lamps in this deck. There's 3 of them in the function control buttons for play and record and pause. Anyhow, let's pop the idler out. It's a little washer under the clip for this thing. And the idler has expired long ago. Well, it's not really that bad yet, but it's still supple enough that I can get the tire off. Even so, it's glazed pretty good. So what else do I want to lube under here? That is the brake linkage. It is moving freely already. So I'm not sure that's needing to be done. But I do want to lube up the reel motor, because I've got access right here. That should do. Oh, that is moving really well. This deck is a battleship, I'm starting to think. It's that well constructed. Pinch roller has to come off sometime for cleaning, so might as well do it now. One spring off. That swivels down and out of the way. Remove clip. And off comes roller. This is seriously easy to work on. Like ridiculously so. May not have the wow and flutter numbers we've been seeing from the JVC stuff, but this is ridiculously good. How simple this is to work on. I'll just check the pinch roller again. Yes, that will clean up. I am pretty sure that will clean up. So I will plan on cleaning it up, I guess. So idler, there is a felt clutch under here. And what we've got here are 2 washers with a spring in between and then a clip up top. So if you take this apart, be mindful of that. And I am going to take it apart because I want to do the service stuff on this. Now this is going to be tricky because once this clip comes off, that spring's going to want to fly across the room. So I'm going to try to hold it in place. Clip is off. Spring pressure has been reduced. Spring is off. Lower washer is off and the idler wheel is off. So we can clean everything up now. I think the felt clutch is okay. If it's not, I've got replacements sitting in that felt washer kit, but we'll just have to see about that. I'm going to try to get away with not replacing it yet. So hopefully you guys are enjoying my Rocky Mountain vacation videos. I don't know if that kind of thing's going to work out for my channel yet, but apparently I have gotten through the anxiety disorder enough to start doing those videos now, which is always good, because if I go off to Japan, I'm going to want to make content about it in order to offset the cost of going to Japan. And I got a tip about these that makes good sense to me, so I'm going to implement it. And that is to scuff up the outer edge of the new idler with fine grit sandpaper. So I'm going to do that. I need my 3000 grit, I think. Okay, 3000 grit sandpaper. And I'll just scuff her up just a little bit. The brand new idler. Just to take some of the shine off. It's not got much shine on it. New idler going on. But yeah, I did watch the operation of the idler while it was in the deck, and it didn't seem to be having any trouble with the clutch, so I'm just going to leave well enough alone with that. Lots of old grease to clean up, though, on these parts. Try and get the drive pinion to clean up as well. Clean that up as well. And I think we should be ready to go back on with the idler wheel. Okay, do I have my preferred dental pick for grease application? Not really, but I'll use this one. So I'm just going to do this the same way I always do it. Well, I got to take some of that moly coat off because there's too much. This seems like it's a really fiddly application for this, because you can just tell that there's not a lot of space between the shaft and the felt on this, so you're running very high risk of the grease getting where it shouldn't on this. So that's why I'm kind of cleaning off the idler again now that I've got a little bit of grease in there. And it's just the tiniest amount of grease I've got in there as well. In fact, I almost wish I had a sewing needle out right now to do the application for the grease. So I think I want just a teeny bit more than that, but well, let me do it from the top here. Shove just a little touch of more grease down in there, and I think I've got it. Okay, now I want a little more moly coat. Just a touch down in here for where the washer goes. I'll just grab one of these two washers, put it down there, spring goes on next. And this is going to be the hard and fun part. Putting the clip back on and the other washer. And presto, one new idler. I hope I don't regret not putting any oil on the spring, but I think it'll be all right. I've got oil down where that lower washer is, so should be all right. And it feels like the clutch is still working, so happy that makes me. So, I need my dental pick again. Little too much moly coat on this shaft here where the idler goes. So we'll just have to see if this new idler works out. I'm sure it will. Let's see, where do I want more grease? I think I want more grease up there right now, actually. Before I even put that washer on. Washer goes on. If I can get it to spin, I can use the washer to distribute the grease. And we will complete by wiping off the excess grease. And we might as well do the roller now, I guess. That way I don't have to worry about anything other than doing the reel tables after that, and then it'll be pretty well finished up at that point. And then I can go back and put the flywheel back in. Okay, now there was a spacer here, and I think that spacer goes on towards the bottom of the arm. I was trying to watch where it went. So I'll measure this roller for you in case you need one. What we have here is 12.6, 12.7 millimeter, no, 12.8 diameter by 7.9. And then the shaft is 1.9, so 13 by 8 by 2 is the pinch roller size for this deck. And I've got a new one, I'm sure I do, but I'm going to reuse this one. I think it really is able to be reused, so I'll just grab a Kim wipe here. And because of the inside of this, I'm not sure if acetone is going to play nice with this, so I'm going to clean it with iso alcohol. Interesting. The side that had the spacer is a little bit thicker in the hub. I'm not sure if that matters at all. But yes, iso alcohol. And then I'll do the soap and water thing as usual. That I will do off camera though. Yeah, I think this is going to clean up nicely. I really do. It's obviously not in the best shape anymore, but it's usable. I really feel like it is. Clean off the shaft here while I've still got a damp Kim wipe here. Looks like there's a little bit of a pin with a little clip surface on this shaft here. Interesting. Okay, one pinch roller cleaned up and reinstalled. You can probably see that it's not the best anymore in terms of condition, but it's good enough to be reused. I'm absolutely sure of it. The area with the little notch in it kind of goes towards the bottom down here, and then the thicker side goes up top here. And then when you reconstruct it, this is how it goes. You can see where the spacer is. It's just up against the smaller section of the hub there. The bigger section goes up in here, and then there's that washer in between the pinch roller and the top side here. They would have put that washer in there to control oil from getting out, but I just think grease is a better idea for these types of pinch roller hubs, so that is what I'm going to use. Don't think I need to take this arm off. I could. It's just one big E-clip down there. Well, actually, let's go ahead and do that. I don't know why, but we'll do it. Just the one big E-clip. Then off it comes. There's a washer that goes on top of that arm, so keep that in mind. So I'll clean that up as well, I guess. Might as well. I just removed it. A clean deck is a happy deck. And there is some rather nasty old grease on this, so good to clean it up, I guess. We'll go in with new stuff. I got new stuff to go in with. It's probably a little too much molly coat, but whatever. Try and spread it out here so it's evenly distributed. There we go. Feels good enough to me. Washer back down. Roller arm back down, and I should note that there is a washer on this little pin as well. I don't think I need to actually clean that pin, so I'm not going to worry about it. And the pin just fits right in there like so. I'll grab a little more molly coat to go underneath the clip. And that's that. We'll reconnect the spring next, which has come loose and tried to go flying, but couldn't because I caught it. There we go. One pinch roller serviced. Now the reel tables. This is going to be interesting. These are the non-split washer type washers. And they're filthy. I guess my thumbnail's not working too well with these. Ah, I got that one. So I'll release the brakes and pull the reel table off. Okay, so here's the retaining washer. And then there's another little washer that goes underneath the retaining washer. Just having a look at the reel table right now to see how it's built. Doesn't appear to be anything too special. There might be another washer inside here. And there is. We'll just pull that one out. And now I can start cleaning again. Gotta clean the surface where the belt goes for the counter as well. Because I see lots of old belt debris in there. Might take a couple of tries to clean all that out, because it's fairly nasty in there. Come on, clean up, you little brat. Get that belt stuff off. Okay, and we've got some parts to remove from this side of the equation. Little spring. And another washer if I can get it. I don't think it wants to be gotten, actually. And I'm nervous about losing that spring because it is tiny. Okay, Mr. Washer, off you come. These washers do appear to be all the same, so I'm not worried about mixing them up at all. The brakes look like they're a little worn on this particular deck. Not sure if I'm going to be able to do anything about that right now, though. I'm still looking for a good solution to doing brake work on these things. I've got some surgical tubing, but that didn't work out for the TCK 666 ES. So that deck is still using heat shrink as a means of dealing with that. That needs more cleaning, doesn't it? I think it needs more cleaning than isopropyl alcohol can give it. So I'm going to get out the acetone. And I'll get this bottom section with acetone. Gotta watch it with acetone because it tends to destroy the fibers on these cheap generic Q-tips and leave garbage behind. So I should have been using a Kim White, but somehow I didn't think of that. Just one little application of grease there. Try and get some inside the spring as well. Getting my fingers nice and greasy in the process. Springs back on. Washer back on. Ah, crap. This washer is supposed to go below the spring self. What are you doing? You're doing it wrong. Stop doing it wrong. Okay, now we're doing it right. Lower washer is on, spring is on, upper washer is on. Reel table about to go back on once I dry off the iso alcohol that's still on it for some reason. But I'm going to apply a little moly coat to the inside of this before putting it back on, because I want some grease on top of that washer. Getting grease all over where I don't want it all in the process. I can just wipe off the excess. That's no problem. Reel table back on. Brakes out of the way. And I'm betting the other reel table is going to have some kind of a back tension brake assembly in there. I'm smearing grease all where I don't want it again, but I'll clean it off. Retainer washer. Stab my finger with the reel table hub. And we've got a nicely relubed reel table. Actually, there's not much grease showing. Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at this side just to see what there is here in the way of back tensioning. Actually, this looks identical to the other side. Absolutely identical. Yes, it is identical. Right down to the pulley for the belt that's not going to go there. Okay, so the reel tables are donezo. At least they should be. That kind of looks out of position to me. Anyway, I think we'll tackle this little guy next. I'll just pull it off the transport to service because it's a little easier that way. And we'll just see what we got under here. I'm sure it's going to be a nightmare of old grease. Washer on each side, of course. Yep, nightmare of old grease. And not particularly good with the belt residue either. So this is going to be fun to clean up. Gotta get all this belt residue off because it will start affecting the new belt if I leave it there. And I'm having to really scrub this. Okay, so I ended up cleaning this off camera. It tried to escape a couple more times, but I found it. I've discovered that this is acetone friendly, this plastic. And the way I discovered that was I basically had no choice. The belt residue was not coming off any other way. What I did was I tested this area around here. See if you can see that. To see if it would melt the plastic, and it was fine. So I went ahead and just did the acetone in there, and that took it right off, all the old belt crap. So this thing's ready to go back on. Once I can figure out what I'm doing here, that is. I need more moly coat, of course. Just put some on the shaft. Doesn't need to be much. I should have put one of these washers on first. Keep forgetting to do stuff like that today. I think my brain still wants to be on vacation, honestly. But I think that's kind of everybody's brain these days, not just mine. Okay, little more of the little moly coat stuff. Right where that washer goes. Washer goes on, and clip goes on. I'll find belts in a minute or 5, but kind of thinking about taking a look at the heads first. I know I kind of wanted to try and clean up the erase head a little better than it was. Oh yeah, the erase head is not clean. I'm going to try acetone, and if that doesn't work, we're going to go in with the polish. I think I may have already tried this with acetone to no effect. Yeah, it's not coming off, that residue, so gonna have to be polishing time. But I'm not doing the record and play head because that one's fine for some reason. That one did clean up. Okay. Autosol to the rescue. I've actually got the Nakamichi erase head out of that BX1 as well if I need it, but I'm actually not sure if this deck can use that erase head, so probably best to reuse this one, unless, like I said, I end up with that RS-M88 as a parts deck. Okay, I think that ought to be good enough, and I'll just clean off the polish and... Oh yes, much, much, much cleaner. About 1,000 times cleaner. It looks as good as the record and play head does. Just want to make sure I get every last possible bit of that polish off, because you obviously don't want to get that on tapes. All right, I think I'm good with that. So it's probably about belt time, I think, because we got to get a counter belt on here. And to put the counter belt on, you would want it on this frontmost pulley, which you can't see because I've got the wrong angle on it. Now you can see it. You'll want the frontmost pulley right there. That's the one that goes around this reel table. So from memory, this should be a 6.5 inch internal circumference belt by 1 millimeter square. Where did I put my... There's my calipers. I'm just going to leave this zoomed out because I don't think you saw any of that. Okay, what's the old belt? 89 millimeters or 3.5 inches, so that is stretched. That's 7 inches internal circumference. So that's about where I would expect it to be. So let me go find my 1 millimeter belts and we'll get one out. Okay, so 6.3 inch internal circumference belt installed. It's about the closest thing I had. I think it's gonna work, but I think all we've got left to do is reinstall the door, reinstall the flywheel. Maybe not necessarily in that order. Maybe I should do the flywheel now. And then put the thing back in the deck and try to find the other counter belt, which will be a 0.7. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna, well, no, we'll do the door next. And I got a feeling that they used damping grease in these, so I'm not exactly sure whether or not Molykote is going to be the right call for these joints. The door might open faster than I want it to, but I don't want to get my 300,000 weight damper grease out because that might be too much damping. So I'm just going to clean up the pivots here. I think what I'll do is I'll get out my Lubriplate 105 for this. It's not much thinner. Well, in fact, it's actually no thinner than, or no thicker, I mean, than the Molykote, but whatever. I could leave it so that the center pivot is a little bit of a damping action with the old grease, and just put new grease on the bottom pivots. Actually, there's two more pivots here. I think this is where all the damping action is, down in here, because there's this big plastic retainer here, and I think this pivot is something we're going to have to grease. So maybe I'll do that too, on both sides, of course. And there's this little pin here that goes into this groove here. We've got to remember that. Or I got to remember that. Somebody's got to remember that. Moving much better now. So I just got to do this other side and start putting things together. I will do this side off camera. So I got the door back on. It's a little bit quick to open now, so somebody's going to have to either suggest to me a appropriate damping grease to use in those locations, or maybe I'll figure it out at some point using the service manual. Right now it is time to get the flywheel back in and put the deck back together pretty much. But before we do anything else, I think we're going to have to, I'm just checking over the flywheel here just to be sure that there's no debris on it. There does not appear to be, so we'll set that back in, but we got to get some grease in there. It feels well oiled, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. So I'm just going to grab my moly coat, put a little bit on here. Okay, satisfied with that I am. So I got to get some zip ties now and clean up some wiring, and I will reinstall the transport in the deck off camera, and then I'll pick a secondary counter belt out of my 0.7s, and we'll see where we get with this. Okay folks, the transport is back in. I used a 3.5-inch internal circumference 0.7mm belt on the counter over here. That was a terrible job trying to install that, by the way, but it got done. The old belt was stretched out to 4 inches, so should work, but it's time to see if the transport works. I have yet to reconnect the cassette well lamp, because I might need to get it back into there anyway, but that's fine. We don't need that to work right now. So, let's power on. My lamp just went out for over here. Great. But power is on. Capstan motor is working, and we need to clean the capstan. I'm so glad I wasted my time with that counter lamp. So glad. And I'll tell you what, I'm not getting in there again anytime soon. It's not going to happen. Oh well, whatever. Don't need the counter well to be, or the counter to be lit up. And as mentioned, the door is a little abrupt opening now, but it's fine, I think. So, tape in. I don't have audio connected yet. We're just trying to see if it works. Not very well. Play works. Fast forward works. Let's see what's happening with the rewind. If we can. It's going over to try to do it. I don't know if it's the counter or what. It could be the counter. Let me stop it for a minute. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the counter off of the pulley onto the area behind the pulley that is not quite as tight for the counter. So we'll see if it rewinds better this way. Could be I just need a looser belt on there. That doesn't seem to have made a difference. And it's still making noise. I done get it. But it is playing. Let's see, what else can I do here? I don't want to take this belt off the pulley again because I'll never get it back on if I do that. But I think I'm going to have to, so I am going to do that just to see if I can get it to rewind. Well, that's better. It's not going to play now because I don't have that auxiliary counter belt on. Or it should shut off. And it did. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the 4-inch internal circumference that was on there before, because that was actually driving the counter before. So let me do that real quick and we'll see what we can do from there. I'm not putting the old belt back on. I'll find a new 4-inch internal circumference belt for this. Okay, folks, here's the score. The new inner counter belt was too tight. So I've loosened off both of them. The new one on this side is about 4 inches in internal circumference, and this one is now 6.8 inch. It's a round 1 millimeter belt. So just got to find what works. It's just like the double D7, pretty much. But that little pulley back in there is still making noise. A little bit. I can live with that for now. You gotta be kidding me. Well, folks, I think it's about as good as I can get her for today. I'm not entirely happy with this yet, but like I said, we're going to have to get back in there anyway to swap in the Nakamichi head, so there's plenty of time. It's up and running, at the very least. Sometimes the play button gets stuck, closed, so it kind of flakes out a little, but I decided not to do any more with that today because I just don't have any more time today. Ah, that noise is going to drive me insane. But it sounds excellent, considering I haven't had time to do the azimuth yet or anything like that. So, I think what I'll do on Wednesday is I'll try to dial in the azimuth, maybe, and get some shots for you as to how good the wow and flutter is on this deck. But I just don't have any more time to do anything else today. I'm not even sure if I should run this thing tonight, actually, but I may do it anyway. Because I kind of want to actually run it for a while to see how it works. Because there are some times, like when I first fired it up after I got it back together, it wouldn't play very well. So it kind of ground itself to a halt, and I don't know why that was yet. Shouldn't have been a problem, but maybe there's something going on with the Capstan. Maybe I have to align the Capstan motor controller yet. High end is going in and out now. What the hell is going on with this? Do I have oil on the tape? It does not appear to be the case. This thing just has problems galore. Oh wait, it's not supposed to be a chrome bias tape. Well, there's no oil on there, at least that I can see. Should be working. Let me get the other test tape. The chrome one. Yeah, see, look at that. It's not playing. Why wasn't it playing? I don't understand it. It doesn't sound like the Capstan motor is having any problems. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't chatter from that pulley, and sometimes it does. I just don't understand why it stalls out like that at some occasions. I'm hearing some popping and stuff in the audio as well. So that's great. I don't think I'm going to be able to use this tonight to listen to. You know what the problem is, guys? These have not been cleaned yet. I knew I should have done that as part of this video. Okay, I did this the quick and dirty way. I just shot a bunch of electrosolve down inside those switches, and now I've got my high end back. Okay, yet another new 6-volt lamp installed in the counter section. I'm actually starting to wonder if my lamps I have here are actually 6 volt. Because, well, I'll show you. Check out how bright this thing is. I don't know, I'm not sure about this. I might have to go to an 8-volt lamp or something, but what I can confirm is that the lamp is getting 5.77 volts or something like that, so 6 volts is the proper lamp. It's just, I don't know what happened to this guy. Anyhow, next step is to go in and do the capstan motor adjustment. I will do this entirely off camera because it looks terrible. So that almost has to be what's going on with the playback not starting. I can't think of any mechanical issue that would cause it to not start when both solenoids kick in. So I will check the alignment and we'll see what it's like. Then after that, we'll take a look at the wound flutter. Okay, so it is now Wednesday and I have done the capstan alignment procedure. Wasn't very far off, but it was off a little bit. Not sure if that's why it wasn't starting playback or not, but I actually haven't had that issue in a little while now, so I don't know. I can tell you I reviewed all my video footage in the meantime. I've basically edited the video already all the way up to this point, and I just could not find any problems. Like, if it were the brakes, you wouldn't have heard the brake solenoid kick in, and it does. So, the not starting playback has to be something with the capstan motor. I can't think of any other reason why it would do that. But like I said, it was slightly out of alignment, so maybe it's fixed now. Intermittent issues like that can really take a long time to track down, so I'm glad this is my deck and not somebody else's. And before I forget to tell you later, I did win the RS-M88. It's coming. Price I paid was $37. I won it unopposed. Nobody else wanted that one. So it's coming, and it will get its own service video, even though it's a parts deck for this machine, intended to be. And there is a chance I can quartz lock that machine as well, because the capstan motors are not that different, or the circuit design is not that different. So I probably mentioned that before in this video, but Monday was such a long day of service that I can't remember anymore. So basically all we're going to do in this segment of the video is just check the wound flutter, and that's probably going to be it, because There's not much else to do aside from swapping in the neck head and fully taking the record play switches out and thoroughly cleaning them on the bench, because we're going to have to do that before it actually records. It's working well enough right now to use for playback, and that's all I want. But before we get into the wound flutter stuff, this is the Capstan motor alignment procedure here. I did get the frequency of the quartz crystal. It's 3.948 megahertz. So that's what you need if you're going to want to try to quartz lock the RS-M88. I've already tried looking for this. Can't find it, of course. So that's going to be fun. I can find 4 megahertz. And that might be the best I can do. I can find slightly under this, but nothing dead on. So in terms of the adjustments that were made, this one was off. It was measuring 0.06 volts. So I managed to get that dialed down to 0.005 volts. So it is very in spec now. You can see it's supposed to be 0 plus or minus 0.05 volts. And I just basically used a DMM for that, my multimeter. I didn't bother with the VTVM or millivolt meter with that one. I didn't think it was necessary, and as it turns out, I think it's happy. And this one was also off. It was 5.4 volts, so I got that one dialed in. I checked it between both playback and no playback, and I've made sure that it's in spec for all modes, so should be working now. And as for this part right here, that was already in spec, so I didn't do a thing with that. So yes, let us find out what this does for wound flutter, because I want to align the playback levels off camera and azimuth off camera, and then start using this machine. So software is ready to go, and we're going to check this using both the DD99's wound flutter tape and the new DD7 tape. So let's see what this measures out at. I'll go with side B on the DD99 tape, and let's just see. .029%, I'm going to call it. It's resonating with the mechanism that's in the DD99, so perfect results will not happen. You need an actual wound flutter tape for this kind of thing if you want to know what it's really doing. But very encouraging so far. Let's try the DD7 tape, which is all the way at the beginning of the tape here. So let me fast forward. And if anybody has any suggestions on how to quiet that down, I'd love to hear it. Maybe a thicker grease or something. I know why it's doing that. It's doing that because the pulley's worn, but I don't know what to do about it is the problem. But I'll need that information for the next time we get into this thing, because that's gonna drive me nuts. Okay, DD7 tape. Let's see what this does. Remember, the DD7 is the only one that's been perfectly serviced. Oh, and look at this. 0.020%. Holy smokes. 0.018%. This thing's a beast. 13 hertz. Oh man, I didn't think my DD7 tape was going to be so much better than the DD99 tape, but apparently it is. Holy tamale. Jesus Christ, this thing's good. Okay, favorite tape deck. Yes, very much so. Well, this and the DD7, because it's apparently on another level from the DD99. Good grief. Okay, anyhow, I gotta do my playback level alignments now, and my azimuth alignments off camera, and then the next time you see this deck will be in the Nakamichi head swap video. So I will see you in the next video, which I don't know what that'll be. I've got to upgrade the main computer somehow, and some way, at some time. Maybe that'll be the next video. Or maybe I'll just give in to temptation and get into that Akai right away. I know what's wrong with it. It's doing the same thing the GXZ9100 did when I first got that, so easy fix. Meantime, I'll see you next time. Take care now.